Hey, this week we're talking about how the horsepower of our marriage, of our home, comes from the bedroom. But how do we do regular maintenance? How do we do checkups? How do we do things that prevent further breakdowns later on? Thanks for joining us. Excited to unpack this today. Hey, thanks for joining us. We're glad you're here. Pastor Seth here with Pastor Kyle Reynolds. And this is, I think these podcasts are great, but it's also a little sad. We're on week 4 of a great series and a great season. The weather's beautiful. It's just like a great time of the year. So I don't want to say it's a turning point because obviously the weather is turning here in Northeast Ohio, but it's hard to leave something, you know? It's hard to step into what's next sometimes.
Well, but it's seasonally, it is a major turning point. I mean, okay, so in my house, next Sunday will be November 2nd. So Saturday, November 1st, it will be it is all about the holidays. It is it's just this shift from the fall is over. Mm-hmm. Now it's not really over, as far as the weather and the leaves and all the work that comes with fall, but it's the attention is, oh gosh, we got to do Christmas lists and where are we going and who's hosting what and what are we going to make and what's our schedule look like? And it's just a whole new level of stress. So, which, you put these series on the calendar and you never know what they're going to evolve into. And I can't think of a more timely message than October before all that.
It really is
a craziness.
Preparation series, an alignment time, an alignment thing. But man, it's been great. We've got a lot of great feedback from people who've just been eating this up. So I would love if you're listening to this, and there's obviously comments within the podcast, different platforms or YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, let us know what's different about your life because of these last 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. Let us know how this has impacted you. Let's Kyle has a point. You say, what we celebrate, we accelerate.
Yep.
So celebrate it, testify. And when you testify, guess what? That gives other people's wait a second, I could do that too. So we share mountaintops, but treetop kind of things that we hear on a Sunday morning are those that come to us. But we know there's so many other stories of transformation and don't think of, again, it's not the mountaintop moments for you. It's just the subtle changes of, I didn't do this today, or I did this today. Subtle changes, celebrate that.
Well, and the feedback again, we walk a tightrope of, okay, Lord, am I discerning what you're saying? Is this what the relevant word for our church is, and then is it actually connecting? And so for me, just even after the 8:30 service Sunday, I had 2 people who were divorced come I probably wouldn't be divorced if I had the information you just gave today. Mm. And so and they were pretty trusted people. And I said, well, why? Give me more words. And because I can see the cracks in our foundation of our marriage were neglected because we didn't do regular maintenance. We ignored it. And they literally almost preached the message back to me through the lens of their life. Mm. And I was like, oh gosh, this is good. It's correct. Yeah. And I don't, I'm sure there's more that you could add. There's refined things. I'm not saying it was perfect in any way, but to go, okay, it's now verified. Mm-hmm. It just made me preach with a greater conviction. He has headed into the 10 and the 11:30 is no, I believe this. I really do. I mean, I thought I believed it when I walked in, but to have it verified, it just gives you a whole new, passion about it. Get this right, which makes it fun and good for our church. And again, it's not about having a perfect marriage. It's just recognizing that marriages require work. Yeah. And that's, what is that they say? Which I guess we're going to talk a lot about this today. It's just, I got an opportunity to go to Onsite, which is a intensive therapy workshop. They have one down in Cumberland Furnace outside of Nashville and one in San Diego. And it's a week check-in. I've talked about it a little bit before on other podcasts on stuff. But anyway, they have this whole thing that the goal is not 180 degrees of change. It's just 2 degrees. And 2 degrees over a long period of time is the difference from a plane leaving LA. 2 degrees is the difference between Philadelphia and New York. And it's that would be my only thing I wish I would have put more effort into on Sunday. or the real regret I have of Sunday, I mean, there's lots more information I could have given, but was to go, hey, just focus on a 2-degree shift. Just work on micro steps, because that long-term trajectory of your relationship, it's the difference of 4 hours of driving, 4 hours of distance, almost 400 miles of distance, not 400 miles, but what is it? It's like 300 and some miles of distance is the difference between a 2-degree shift.
And I think we can say that about the whole series too, right? Like, there's I think there's a ton of practical aspects of this, a ton of real life encouragements and things that you can distill out. It's pretty easy to find something, but just one thing, like just try one thing in each of those areas and just watch how those cascade to others. So anyways, we made a lot of stuff to get through today, a lot of things to unpack about the bedroom, but overall kind of the things that I remember were the difference between covenant and contract, unpacking that, the difference that regular maintenance makes, the difference of don't ignore the warning signs, the warning lights are meant to drive you back on track, and then just, to fight for it. So yeah. All right. So jumping in where we already kind of talked about some feedback from the weekend, but what are things that you want to keep unpacking?
Well, I had a mechanic text me during the 10 o'clock service, and it was gold. I can't remember if I worked it in at 11:30, but it was just, I got it right at the 10 o'clock. So half the group missed it. So it's worth saying now. And it was just a gold mine when you have a field technician verify something. He said that every dollar spent on maintenance avoids $10 in repair later. And he says that's the national automotive industry, like statistical empirical evidence. And I think that's profound. And I think it's really important is that if your marriage is in crisis, which I have thoughts on that's knowing you're in crisis is important, and obviously go to war for it. But if you're not in crisis, which I think the majority of our marriages are not in crisis, we have to get really good at maintenance. We have to start investing in those regular check-ins, touch points, date nights, these attuning moments, because they are clearly, it might cost you a little bit now, but it's saving you a ton of money in the long run, because if you don't take care of it, it will break down.
So based off of what you just kind of shared there, when it comes to somebody who said this would have helped me, right? They're able to look back on it. And based on some of those conversations, would you say that the main kind of like, all right, that's where I need to zero in, is the idea of maintenance? Like, what does maintenance look like in a practical sense? We talked about it, the idea of changing the oil in a car is that grace and mercy and applying that. But practicality when it comes to maintenance in a marriage, is that?
Yep, 100%. Because I think I think we have a very worldly, and it's because of social media, it's because of Instagram, where we always, and this has been the whole message of the thing, we cannot judge our lives based on the highlight reels of other people on social media. Yet that's human nature in this season, is we're constantly measuring ourselves based on the projected lives of others on social media.
Right.
So that's a whole other thing, but we're all guilty of that. And so when it comes to regular maintenance, we tend to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We say, oh, I can't afford, if you're in the Cleveland area, I can't afford a date night at the Marble Room. And so therefore, I
show at Playhouse Square. Yeah.
I can't afford maintenance. And so I'm just stuck. And I'm like, okay, first off, very few people can afford the Marble Room. Second off, the Marble Room is not that great. Okay. And number three is we have to stop living this illusion of a date night or maintenance or those things as being money driven or monetary in focus versus value in focused. I have had Andrew and I, we've had plenty and we've had little. I remember when we were married, I think 5-6 years, and we moved to Nashville, and it was just a really interesting time. Our daughter had just been born. My wife stopped working. We made all these. In hindsight, I would say they were poor choices, but I don't know. It's kind of what got me here, so it's hard to judge your past.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a season where we had no money. Like no money. Looking back, I'm like, well, what a stupid choice to ever do this. But we were broke as a joke. And yet it was a season where I can empirically tell you God blessed us more than ever before in our life. And it was amazing how we found creative, fun ways to have date nights. It was going and walking in a park, which is free. It was going grocery shopping together and making a meal together. These are things that are everyday aspects of life that we just had fun doing. Lots of different stuff. A picnic. I mean, my wife, she personally thinks that a picnic is the most romantic thing in the world. And I hate picnics. I would rather sit at a table than sit on the grass in some park. But that meant the world to her. And listen, every one of us has a blanket. Every one of us can afford a paper plate, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's such a low dollar thing. It's not about the what. It's about the moment that you're there and that attuning that happens that is so, so important.
So maybe just summarizing a little bit of that, and obviously we're going to keep unpacking this, but two things is one, the lower expectations or just like, throw out this idealistic idea in order to go. And that's for both parties. And if you're just at this, like, button heads, I think sometimes I know that I've learned the most about my wife. Sorry. Our marriage has been helped the most when I've learned more about who she is and how she connects, and I listen and I pay attention to for her, it's way more about just engaging relationally before anything else. And just me taking the time to sit down, and maybe it's not what I want to do as far as like sit and talk or do something that's mundane or whatever, but just how much that fuels her. But how much these simple things take years to uncover about people we love that we just assume everybody's like us. And it's like, no, not everybody's wired the same, and not every season is the same either.
So maintenance is not a date night. It is not a vacation. It's those can absolutely fuel maintenance-minded things. So they're great things. They're good things. I would say that the probably the best definition for in my life right now, and I think seasonally it's different. I mean, it might be different for a retired couple. It might be really different for a young adult couple. It could be real different for a young family couple. But I think the spirit of it is a weekly check-in where you really ask the hard questions. How are you doing? Because again, you're looking to, what can I mourn with you about? What can I celebrate with you about? And what can we have fun with together? What fun? If there's not joy, like the joy of the Lord is our strength. So how strong are our marriages if we can't have fun together? Like I'm assuming that you married this person because you liked them, that you had fun with them. Well, it's amazing how much we could drift from those moments and spaces and places of fun because of busyness, because we said yes to having a kid. We said yes to this car payment, yes to this house payment. Those are all things that are good. They're great things, but they're things that if we don't watch, if we don't guard, will pull apart our relationship, and we don't see it coming. Yeah. So I think it's just that weekly check-in where you're saying, how are you doing? And walking through almost like checking the sensors of our lives. And this is where we're uniquely designed individuals. My sensors, the things that make Kyle tick, make him happy, keep him going, are very different than Andrea, my wife. And so it's understanding those uniquenesses, asking specific questions, and making sure you have those regular scheduled check-in points. And then here's the big thing. It is at those moments that you respond to the needs that arise. That's what maintenance is. And that's why it looks so different for everybody else. And I have I learned something that I would love to give you. In fact, I'll share it with you in this podcast, but then we'll link it below. I'll give it to every couple. We might even put it in the Our Church email, but it's just it's a way to a template, if you will, to seek those questions. Okay. It's called Phaneros. And phanos, I'm sorry, not phaneros, phanos. And what's crazy, it's the Greek word meaning to bring light to. Now, I think that's just a fluke in that, but it's also an acronym. Yeah. And it should take 25 minutes or less per person. So here's what I would encourage is that you carve out time. I don't care when, I don't care how, just carve out time. I don't care where you do it. It could be in bed, turn off the TV, put the phones down, look each other in the eye, hold each other's hands, do it. It could be at breakfast. It could be over dinner. It could be while you're playing checkers. I don't know. The idea is that you want to make sure you create space for attention. Don't overthink it. Keep it simple, all that stuff. But you're just simply going to, one at a time, go through this acronym, which is feelings. How am I feeling? And I'll even in the document has a link to like a feeling wheel where it will help people put words to their feelings. It's very important that you actually put in the work. Like, how are you feeling? Are you mad? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you glad? Are you feel bad? Like, put words to our feelings helps the other person go, oh, I understand. It's not me. Yeah. And it's never an attack. It's not you made me feel. It's I feel. It's keep it about you. I feel this way. This is a crazy one. Affirm your spouse. Right there in that moment, just affirm. It's some crazy statistic. Like for every one negative affirmation, it requires 5 to 12 positive affirmations. It's a sin nature, I guess, that we tend to hold to negative. Like negative imprints on our souls deeper, stronger, more than positive. Right. And so we have to have an overwhelming amount of positive to overcome the negative.
Just a one negative. Yeah.
And so it's just a real simple part. It's like affirm that person right there. Give them an affirmation. And then when the other person, they're going to give you an affirmation. And that's like meant to be just fuel in your gas tank. What is it that you need? State your need. It could be, I need help with the laundry. I need help with the kids. I need a break. I need some personal time. I need to do this. And just listen. It's not about judging. It's not about solving. It's just listen to your spouse's needs. What do they need to own? And this is where it gets. It's like each question just turns up the heat or the intensity of it. This is where you see.
Wait, you need to own, like I need to own something, or like
it is. It's about reconciliation.
Oh, hey, own up. Okay,
I'm going to own up. I'm going to take ownership of. We do this. We want to be judged far more on our intentions. And I just need to hear this. As followers of Christ, we are to assume intentions. We're to speak facts. I didn't do this, and I want to own that. I said this, and I didn't deliver on it. I need to own that. I told you I would take care of this. I did not do that. I want to own it. It's in that ownership that we're like, oh, I feel heard. Like I feel, I don't want to say the word vindicated, but I feel valued. Like I saw it the same way you did. And we're not looking at two different angles.
Right.
We're not crazy. I'm going to take ownership of this.
There's got to be some release to that too, right? Like,
well,
you're carrying this lie or this thing or this like let down, like, oh, I let them down. But just like, then you hear, oh, that, even if it was like I'm sorry, I offended you. You're like, no, you didn't. I was like, wait, I've been holding that in for.
And Pastor Chad said this once in a sermon. I've held on to it, right? When we confess our sins, our failures, our flaws, right? Sin is so strong, and sure, it's probably sin. I'm not trying to minimize the
weakness,
word, but
brokenness.
Confess that thing. Not only does God forgive you, but because He's God and that's what He does. But when we confess to one another, we find freedom. So yes, there's release. There's reprieve. There's like, I get to be unshackled from this thing that I didn't even know I was carrying. And then here's the deal. It's going to feel very weird the first time. But if you do this every week, imagine how simply it's going to roll off the tongue. And you're like, wow, there's a weightlessness to this because I'm loved and I'm respected. How about this? Then the next one is, what am I struggling with? I'm struggling with momentum. I'm struggling with desire. I'm struggling with my prayer life. I'm struggling to read scripture. I'm struggling to keep up. I'm struggling at work. What are you struggling with? And again, it's not for the other person to judge. It's not for the other person to solve, because you're not asking questions. You're stating what your struggle is. And then, how have I been successful?
So 2 S's.
2 S's.
Yeah, okay.
How have I been successful?
Struggle, where am I struggling? And then even hyping yourself up, like, man, this is what I think went well, right?
So funny.
This is all about you, though.
Yep. You're speaking about you. You're speaking about you. And this is a crazy thing. So my wife and I just had a conversation before I got here to record this podcast. And my wife is, she loves to be celebrated. That is a thing that she requires. And and so for me, I'm analytical. I'm more engineer mind. I'm kind of one of these people where I'm like, we all have roles and responsibilities, and we get celebration because we went above and beyond. We don't get celebrating for just doing the bare minimum. Mm-hmm. And like that's like we're speaking two different languages. Now, no one's right and no one's wrong. It's just we're showing up with two different beliefs. And so she was telling me, she's like, I want to be celebrated because I unloaded the dishwasher and no one had to ask me. And I was like, oh, okay. So when I force her or I have to say, what is my success? I might be inviting the other person into going, here's how I think I'm doing. Yeah, and it might not even be a perspective in their head. Like if my wife said, you know what, this week I carved out 30 minutes every day to spend time with Jesus. Whoa.
Right.
That's huge. Like,
right.
Now, how else would I have known that if she didn't tell me that? Mm-hmm. That's such a personal, intimate detail to her life. Like, am I walking around monitoring her? Am I keeping accounts of her calendar? No. But I'm also expecting that she's doing that because she can only show up to my family, to my kids, to my marriage out of the overflow of what she's taking care of herself.
Right.
So to hear that success and be like, thank you.
But even to go, okay, let's see how this can be practical. For you, it might be communicating, I'm struggling to just like keep things in line or like keep up right now because of whatever that, call it seasonal depression. Like we're going into see, I'm struggling to even just keep things afloat. But success is I folded that load of laundry and got it put away.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem monumental, but in that moment when you're like just trying to breathe above water, like that could, and someone gets celebrating that, like, thank you.
Well, and I would say it's meant to be a dopamine reverse because you just got done saying, here's what I need to take ownership of, and here's where I'm struggling. But I'm also winning too.
Right.
I am not just a failure. I have wins and I have losses and I have things I need to work on because that's what humanity is. We are not perfect. Mm-hmm. And so it's just a reminder that, yeah, I just own some stuff. Yeah, I just confess I'm struggling with stuff, but I'm also succeeding in some things. And it's meant to be this boost and on this high note. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that I got to share your heart. And then you turn around and you go, okay, now it's your turn.
Right.
And the other person does it. And here's the deal. All of that is meant to be like that mechanic device that they plug into your car that makes sense of.
Shows the code. Yeah.
All the sensors that our bodies have, all the sensors are that I don't know how to read. I need something to transcribe that into plain English. Well, that's what this is. Right. It's for me to understand this completely autonomous other human being that has a different mind, a different heart, a different emotional state, emotional being than me, help me understand what I need to pay attention to. And then here's the crazy part is, imagine the conversation that overflows out of that. Mm-hmm. Imagine what that loads in your conversational brains as the conversations. Imagine how that would just shift your dinner room conversations.
Right.
Imagine what that would look like. Now, I'm not saying do this in front of your kids, but imagine how you modeled that in for your kids in the other areas of your life. It would be transformative.
Well, and it sets them up to have like, so depending on your household, maybe you saw it, maybe you had two parents, maybe you didn't. Maybe for you heard your parents argue wildly, right? Mm-hmm. Or you didn't. So when we're talking about parenting, like we realize that our kids are watching us and our patterns are imprinting them, whether we like it or not, in some way formational. But the more that you can kind of expose those rhythms to them, it gives them the tools they need to be successful in the next generation because they saw it modeled. It's not, and you brought them into it, not just like, oh, I saw mom and dad talking, that's cool. But no, like mom and dad talked to me about what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. And that helped me like, oh, when I'm in that situation, 10, 20, whatever the years are later, like, oh, I can apply these same things that I saw were effective in my parents.
Exactly.
So, it's interesting that you kind of mentioned, you mentioned a few things and we're talking about the same mechanic here, but like this past spring, I can't remember, like I had like 4 lights come on the car, which is always the worst, right? Like you're like, why all at the same time? And one was like a traction control light. One was like related to like the ABS sensor. Like they all came on and there's a check engine light. And I'm like, why are all these things like my car is like, get a new car. Like it's just like, just get a new car. But it was interesting that like all those lights came on, but it had nothing to do with any of those things. Those were cascading messages to what was really, it was a timing belt issue because it's an older car. It's you have to do it. Like there's just regular maintenance. You got to go through this. It needs it to run, and nothing was like negligent. It just was what it is. But all these other lights were triggering. And so how many times if we don't do like just something happens, trauma, tragedy, there's just stuff happens, right? Like big things that if you're married long enough, things happen. Yeah. That's the guarantee. But the symptoms of what you're feeling in your marriage, it might not be that your tires are bad. It might not be that your brakes are bad. It could be just something else that in general, and I think that's the deceit of the codes and the deceit of just doing small things like, oh, we have date night every week. We're doing good. Yeah, but like, sometimes the code can throw a certain number, but that's not the issue at all.
Correct.
It's just a symptom of it.
We had just early on in our marriage, we had someone kind of talk to us. So run this through the filter of like common sense and logic. Like if you take this to the extreme level, you'll miss it. But they basically said, hey, they're in for a newlywed or for someone who's in the front end of a relationship, when it's all sparkly and unicorns and rainbows, it's all magical. Every moment is magical, which I love those. And I think that in our relationship, things get crazy. Like case in point, we had a guy, an individual that used to live with us and lived with us for 9 years. And so here's the thing, what I'm saying this is the magical moments come in waves. They're not just in the front end of a relationship and then never again and you have to manufacture them. No. It was hilarious though, because when he moved out, this person moved out of our house who had lived with us for the last 9 years. It was like, wait, we're alone in our house. It was this magical moment because my wife's like, hey, I can walk around the house in whatever I want now because there's no one else here. And our kids are both at school.
A little bit of freedom.
And I was like, this is a unicorn moment. Come on, somebody, right? Like, but they come in different moments. And so my whole point is enjoy the magical moments. They're beautiful. But when there's not magical moments, the piece of advice was fight about every small thing. Because in the magical moments, we tend to think we can just grace away all the small stuff. Oh, that's not that big of a deal. I'm just going to let it go. Oh, that's not a big deal. I'm going to let it go. Or he or she didn't mean that. I'm going to let it go. And what happens is we don't really let them go. Those become chinks in our armor. And then the little things build to the point where we break. And we break about something that we never. And so my point is if you fight about every small thing, there'll never be a big thing. And that's the thing is, just go to war on every small thing. Put in the work on the small things. And I will say this one last thing, which is going to maybe surprise people, but a marriage that is not fighting is dying. The moment you stop fighting is when you die.
Yeah.
It's when it's over. And so if you think that, a marriage is peaceful, you've missed a marriage. A marriage is two people fighting together for the future they desire.
Right.
And the moment you stop fighting, there's no future.
And I would say something that I'm sure just anybody, pastors or people who do help with pre-marriage counseling, like when it comes to healthy conversation, there is talking like very specifically, so clear, like at like the feeling statement we just talked about there. So I feel this way and I wish this would be this way. Like very specific, not ethereal. It's not you. It's I feel this way. I would like, and then if you guys really are struggling to have these like arguments, like you just said, or talk about things that can get heated, or one person can, be more assertive and the other person not. The other side of it is go, I heard you say this.
Yeah.
And it's literally the simplest, like easiest thing, and then when you're able to articulate back, that gives the other person the opportunity to go like, no, that's not what I said. Like you heard that wrong. Or I said that, or, oh, I didn't say that clear enough. I understand how I'm confusing, like, different terms, different feelings. So assertive talking, active listening where you're repeating back to really do exactly what we're talking about. So it's feelings, affirmations, needs. What was O is
ownership.
I own this, struggling.
And then how am I succeeding?
Yep. Just do that.
Yeah, and so like I said, at the bottom of the link, right in the description of it, we'll put a link, and it has a whole resource of that in greater detail, how to start it, how to implement, how to ground rules, all that. It's a pretty well scripture that validates these questions, what this is, and it's just an incredible resource.
Yeah.
And I just want to throw out, honor Jim Kress. He's a marriage and counseling therapist that I got to work with at Onsite, and he just wrote a book with Lisa Turkhurst about relationships and divorce, actually. And he's just a great guy, man of God, loves Jesus and loves relationship. He's a great resource, and he helped write
Craft this.
Craft this. I want to give him honor.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know what that looks like for you, and maybe you're single, and you're dating, or you're engaged, or you're divorced, or you're married, whatever it is. Find yourself in the teaching. There's something you can take away from this. There's something that you can use as a way of preparation, a way of restoring covenant, a way of preparing for covenant. Like, okay, I'm putting this work even with friends and relationships, because these are things that I need, regardless of if the relationship is married or not. So like, there's a lot of healthy things in this, but I think at the end of the day, it's I would say holistically, maybe we spend like the last 2 minutes of this podcast summarizing the series in some ways, like better conversations, speaking truth, bringing Jesus into ordinary moments, not letting things stack up in corners, but active, proactive conversations, preparing for whatever's next. Like, any other concluding thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, our homes will be what we curate, or what we tolerate.
Yep.
And that's where I think all of us, we got to stop tolerating things, and we need to curate better homes. And hopefully, if you reflect on the series, the podcast, we gave you every tool that we have to do that.
Yeah, and obviously these are cool. I mean, you can make a series out of every single one of these rooms, and there's so much to mine out. I wish we had more time. We'll give you as many resources as we can, but two things: let us know how you're winning, right? Let us know what's working, what's helping. Let us know where you're struggling and what would be helpful for you. Like, ask these questions, like, fight for it, have the hard kind of reflection to know where am I at, not just assume. So thanks for being on this with us. We're appreciating you and all you're doing to forward the kingdom of God in your circle, wherever that is, and we're excited for what's next. And thanks for being here with us.